My major is early childhood education, and I believe it is the foundation of all students' learning process. At the ages of 4, 5, and 6, I believe the purpose of education at this point in their lives is to get the students to want to learn on their own. We need to get them to become curious about other things so they have this desire to learn instilled in them. Once this happens, the purpose of education becomes different. In my opinion, the purpose of education changes as we do. It matures as we grow older, and it flourishes as we develop because we are constantly changing the way we think and the way we learn. Since we were younger, we are told that education is the key to being successful. But in the course of someone's life, they will learn there are many different versions of success. In my opinion, the purpose of education is to prepare a person for their version of success. In order to help prepare a person, we must instill in them the knowledge and values needed in order to achieve their goals. The purpose of education is to inform people of things they may not have known before, and this does not mean math and English. There are many aspects of life a person can learn about other than the core subjects taught at school, because there will come a point when the student is no longer in school and will have to take the values they learned throughout their school experience and apply it to their lives. As educators, it is our job to help the students as they continue their journey to figure out what it means to be successful. Personally, I believe that as an educator, my role is to help students learn about themselves as well as the core subjects. I think it is important to help students achieve their dreams. My role in achieving this is to guide the student in their path to their goal and assist them in anything they need to reach their goal, because we all face obstacles in our lives. My job is to help the students find a way to overcome the barriers put in their path. We as educators need to help the students learn to think, not to tell them what to think. In many situations, teachers tell students information and do not let them process the information. They tell them this happened on such a date, but do not give them anything to relate it to. In my opinion, my role is to give the students information about important issues, but in a way they can relate to. In many situations, students do not enjoy going to school because they do not think they will need any of the information they are being taught. My job is to show them that in one way or another, you will need at least one piece of information you learned while you were younger. No matter where a person starts in life, if they wish to succeed, they will, and I believe it is my duty to help them. I have always wanted a profession where I could help people, and for the longest time I wanted to be a pediatrician. It was not until a couple of years ago that I realized I only wanted to become a doctor because of the money. I had to reevaluate my career choice, and I made the decision to become a teacher. It takes a special person to want to help someone succeed, and I believe I will be able to do it. I think that the learners should take the knowledge and the educator gives them and use it to their advantage to become a better student, because a good teacher can do all they can, but if the student does not want to use what they know, they cannot succeed. I think that being in school is not the only way you can become educated. I think that to a certain extent it is the teacher's responsibility to give the learner as much information as they can, but it takes someone who actually wants to learn to accept what they are being told. A person who is successful is determined, self-motivated, committed, responsible, and hardworking. In my opinion, the learner has a certain responsibility to want to be successful. The learner should take what the educator gives them and find a way to think about it critically while applying it to their own lives, because that is the only way the information will mean anything to the student. I believe that family and the community plays a huge role in the purpose of education, because it becomes the parent's responsibility to help the child once they arrive home. A person cannot be successful without a support system, and that comes from family members and members of the community. When a student comes home and needs extra help with things they have learned in school, it becomes the family's duty to help the student. The morals and values a student learns at home will follow them at school, and these values are just as important as anything a student will learn in school, which is another reason why the family and community play a vital role in the success of a student. If I could reform education, I would start with elementary school, because I believe it is the foundation of learning. I think that at such a young age, children either learn to enjoy school or dislike school. I would start with the highest authority in the school, the principal. A lot of times people will say that they have bad teachers, which may be true, but it starts with the principal. They are the leaders of the school, and they must set a good influence and have a positive attitude. They must make sure all their teachers are on the same page with the curriculum, and although every teacher has a unique teaching style, the principal must make sure that the teachers in their school have the qualities of a good teacher. Anyone can say they want to be a teacher, but it takes a special individual to be good at it. The next thing I would change would be the qualifications it takes to become a teacher. I would make the qualifications for public and private schools the same because it does not seem fair that teaching in private school has different qualifications. People assume that a private education is better than a public one, which would not be the case if I could reform education. Every student would actually be given an equal opportunity to learn. Another thing I would do might be slightly different than anything else. Everyone knows how they have medical school, law school, veterinarian school. Well, I would make a special program for teaching. I think that there are certain things a teacher must be able to handle before going into the teaching field. I think that if there was a school for teachers, it would be easier for someone to figure out if they actually enjoy teaching rather than wasting their time and the students' time. The next thing I would do was make sure each student had meals, school supplies, support, and things of that nature. There are many factors that play into education, and they all play a role in the education the child receives. I think it is important for a child to have support because one person is not as strong as multiple people together. In this sense, a good support system is necessary because someone has to take the child to school while they are younger and make sure they are getting fed and doing their homework. If there is no one to look after a student or help them, they are less likely to succeed. Although a person could change things about the education system, there will always be at least one person who does not agree with what you are doing. As much as I wish I could change the education system, there is going to be someone with a different opinion of what is right trying to change what I am doing. In order for something to become better, we must become better ourselves.